Welcome to 2Cents FC. I'm your host, Amobi Okugo, back again with my guy, L. Each week, we'll be talking with individuals from around the soccer world, learning about their stories and getting their unfiltered thoughts and opinions. This week, we're joined by 2Cents family, sports resident crew supporter, Tyler Phillips, and we'll be talking about Atlanta's United internal struggles, a lot to unpack there, Orlando City's new ownership, and Columbus Crew's rebrand. I'm excited about that one, especially with Tyler on. So, Tyler, how you doing today?
Dude, I'm doing well, man. Tired. Been running around the country a little bit, but I'm good.
I see y'all making moves. So, run us. Give us some context real quick.
Context is that 2Cents Sports in itself is gearing up for some really cool stuff in 21 and 22, and going out and making the right partnerships, talking to the right people, and we're going to make the right content. So,
yeah, that's facts. The bandwagon is not full, so if y'all want to get on before it's too late, hop on to what we got going on at 2Cents Sports.
Get on this train before it's gone, because it's about to go.
That's facts.
All right, well, let's jump right into this, though. We got a lot to unpack, a very MLS-heavy episode this week. So first up, the life and times of Atlanta United. So, Felipe Cardenas dropped a sizzling article this past week with the Athletic, pull back the veil on the team's meteoric rise and just as quick fall. Me as an Atlanta United fan, I obviously was very interested in what needed to be said. So here's some key points if you haven't read the article. Carlos Bocanegra left Marcelo Bielsa on red. Carlos Bocanegra ran Tata Martino off. Carlos Bocanegra curved Manuel Pellegrini, Claudio Ranieri, who led Leicester to a Premier League championship, Marcello Lippi, who led Italy to the 2016 World Cup, in order to hire Frank de Boer. Carlos Bocanegra dragged his feet on offering Darlington Nagbe an extension, leading him to demand a trade to Columbus. Carlos Bocanegra traded Julian Gressel without giving Frank de Boer a heads up. You get the point, right? Like you get the common denominator here, right?
Yeah.
You meant 2006 World Cup, right? The one they won it when they won it.
2006. Did they win in 16?
There was no World Cup in 2016.
Yeah.
2006. My bad.
Yeah, okay.
So react.
What you got? I'll let you go first, Tyler. I know I want L's opinion too, because he's like a.
Well, it's funny, but I think the theme of almost today's episode is just like humans at the end of the day are going to be human. We don't get it all right. We just don't get it right all the time. And for each of the things we're going to talk about, like you're going to see like each of these people, even though we're going to talk about some of the misses, they all have a whole list of hits, every single one of them, right? Atlanta United, you see the fans, the culture, the play on the field. We're going to pretend last year didn't happen. There's a lot of good.
The championship in the second year.
That's true too. Hey.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Yeah, but when it comes to the internal side of things, or the human side of things, I mean, there are going to be misses because at the end of the day, we're all like, we're not perfect. Sometimes we have, let's say this, we miss. And I think what this article did was to show that, Carlos at times seems to allow his like either ego or his own personal ventures to get in the way of the overall vision of the club. It seemed there was a power struggle, and for me, I'm thinking like there's so many yeses that I would say to some of the things that he turned down. But when it comes to the end of the day, it's like what you want to do as a human being. It's going to, hey, Lola, I'm going to take care of it real quick. I'll stop and you can mute me. But if you can say yes to some of these other things and take a seat back, I think he would have had more wins. So that's what I'm saying with that. I just don't understand how you leave the managers that you had on the table. I just don't understand it. And you settle with DeBoer. That's the thing that killed me. That and the Nagbe thing killed me. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And Lola feels the same way.
That's great podcasting right there. He said Lola feels the same way. What about you, El?
All right, where do I start? Okay. No one man should have all that power, as Kanye said so eloquently. You know what I'm saying? Just from reading it, it seems like And I don't think it was intentionally a Boca Negra slam piece. I think it was more so as I'm going through this, I'm uncovering a common thread here with some of these issues that we've had. And, you know, first of all, he was very, what's the word? I don't want to say underqualified, but inexperienced in the role. So that's a first, I guess, flag against him. But, you know, give people a shot, you know, see what they do. And it seemed like he did well. I think another thing that kind of really hurt him was losing Paul McDonough after the championship year. So Paul McDonough went over to Inter Miami to kind of help build that team. And Paul McDonough was the one who was finessing, you know, all the MLS rules and roster rules and salary rules and stuff like that. He was like the grand wizard when it came to that. And so after he left, and perfect timing, the MLSPA just released all the salaries for this year. And you see some of these players that we have on these contracts, it's like these mediocre players, like mid-level players on these crazy contracts. Like that's all Boca, you know what I'm saying? Like, so now we don't have cap. Now we have cap issues for people who aren't proven to produce. You know what I'm saying? Like they let Gressel go because of cap issues. But Gressel's making less than Jürgen Damm, who replaced him, and who is a fraction of the productivity. He can't even get a cross in. He can't even get a cross in the box successfully. You know what I'm saying? And like that's how Joseph was eating all this time, with those Gressel crosses into the box. Easy money. But Damm can't even kick that over, but he's making 1.7. You know what I'm saying? Gressel's still making 700K. All you had, like, the value of it is not adding up, B. Like, and so I think that's one thing that kind of tanked the roster a little bit, is, you know, not having that wizard, so to speak, who can finesse the numbers for you, who can find talented players and get them on, you know, decent contracts, so that, you know, the value levels out a little bit more. Another thing, I think he feels like he may feel, I'm speaking for him, but I think he may feel like the South Americans were starting to run the asylum a little bit.
Mm.
And so the South American culture is super, super heavy in the team. And I think running Tata off was one of the first things to do with that. And then bringing De Boer in, trying to bring in more what they call a North American style or a Euro style to the team, kind of fractured. I think they lost the team super early. And I mean, De Boer is trash as a coach, but I don't want to even like put it fully on him, because he didn't have his players to begin with. Like they don't fit his style. So it's trying to force a square into a circle hole or whatever. So that's another issue that I feel was kind of an ego trip. Seeing as, you know, Tata wanted a little bit more control over the roster and to suggest certain ways to build the roster. And, you know, Carlos had his own way of doing things, and he basically took all that power out of De Boer's hands. So that goes to show you that that's an area of friction that they were running into with the last coach. And we see where that led them, you know, taking the power out of the coach's hands. We see where that led them down a rabbit hole. I mean, we won trophies, but that was remnants of the last team. So, and then you ran off some of our best players because of the poor coaching decision and, you know, the lack of continuity when it comes to tactics and stuff like that. So LGP gone, you know, Nagby pieced out. He was already leaving. Franco Escobar is probably gone. You know, he's off on loan right now, but he's probably out.
Viaba too. We lost Viaba as well.
Assad, y'all lost Assad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we lost
Villaba, Hector.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Viaba.
Okay.
Yeah, Viaba. Yeah. But
I mean, off the bench, you still
Assad was on loan initially, but Tata wanted to sign him, and he's like, nah. So, in favor of Barco, who, you know,
mixed reviews.
You can say what you want about Barco. Like he's done well, but he also hasn't lived up to the $15 million transfer fee that we paid to bring him in.
And he ruined the locker room presence with his antics.
Oh yeah, I mean young boy things. But for the most part, like I feel like if we have a bad season this year, it's over for that guy. Like now that like there'll be it's already a Boca out campaign right now with the fans. But I feel like if we don't perform this year, if we don't have like a good, deep run in the playoffs, MLS Cup run, he may be on the hot seat. He probably already on the hot seat now. Like I'm pretty sure like it's not sweet in those halls right now after that article came out, so I mean Darren Ills didn't do much to help him either.
I mean, he spoke on record. He was like, yeah. he's gonna talk,
Wait, what Darren Ills say?
I mean, he never said anything directly against Bocanegra, but he never also like supported.
He just kind of he distanced himself. He was like, hey, I gave Bocanegra the keys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's how they do it.
So, I mean, that's pretty much my 2 cents on it. Like it was just juicy to kind of peel the veil back a little bit. And I wouldn't say I'm not like really mad per se. I'm not in an uproar as some others were, but like now I understand like what happened. So it makes sense now.
Are you Boca out?
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm leaning that way. That way. It's like if you have that much of an ego trip to where you can torpedo a championship team in 1 year, then you may need to seek some other employment. And one other thing that I noticed from the article was how it's possible that he kind of sabotaged Tata's chances of coaching the U.S. men's national team. So, Tata really wanted that job, but never got a call, never got a look. And Boca, who's on the committee, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he has something to do with that. So that's another strike against him. Hater. What you think, Amobi?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. Obviously, we're not in the back room. I do remember when, because Naby's a friend of mine, when he was about to leave. So like hearing the inside of that, I'm not going to tell his business out there. But
say, like, what can you tell us?
nah. But from the standpoint of Bocanegra, I mean, if you look at his career, U.S. captain, played overseas, came up, and he shout out to him. I mean, he's a U.S. legend. Got to respect the OGs. Went to UCLA, so I got mad respect for what he's done. But from the standpoint of a lot of times when you see a lot of these soccer players that get into these roles, they are so power hungry, they're so ego that it affects their judgment. And then obviously for someone like him that has a lot of relationships, that has a lot of, people that have helped him come up and people that he's worked with that he trusts, he's probably going to be more willing to do some things on the back end when it comes to deals. So like Hyman coming to the squad when that wasn't really needed, or, getting rid of Nagbe. Obviously, Nagbe didn't want to go back home, it was said. But some deals that you're just like, are you getting kickbacks? Like, are you doing someone a favor? Like, what's that really about? And then from the standpoint of like working with different coaches, when you're in a GM or president role, you want to be able to have someone that's kind of like a yes man, in the sense of where, all right, if they do well, I'm going to get credit. But if they do bad, I can put it on them. Whereas if Tata comes in, Bielsa, these bigger names where they have a presence and they want, control, it's always going to be a tug of war. And with that, obviously, Tata did a great job of, transforming the culture of Atlanta United. And you can see it had its identity, it had its culture, the South American style of play, South American, contingent. And, like you said earlier, that might have been, a little bit hard to have, because you're losing control within the organization. So with that, I definitely think that played a role. Obviously, we're not in the back room. We're not seeing the deal flow and all that stuff. But you brought up a great point, too, because Paul McDonough, obviously he got the short end of the stick for his time at Inter Miami. But that's someone that understands the intricate details when it comes to MLS and players. He's been an agent. He's been a coach. He's done a great job, starting Orlando. I was there with him when he brought me over starting Atlanta, and then even starting Miami. Miami's in this whole nother world. But if Atlanta does not fix this, it's going to be scary hours for the next couple of years. So
sure.
I'm not saying they need to make moves from Bocanegra, but they definitely need to get back to what worked for them in the first couple of years. Because I don't know, like a lot of times when, these executives, they want to fix something that's already working. It's like, I don't understand. Like, it's working, it's proven. I want my own spin on it. Like, nah, it doesn't matter who gets credit. It doesn't matter as long as the team's winning, the fans are happy, and you're making money, which I think Atlanta was doing. And then now it's not really like that. So, yeah, they got to watch out because it could be a tough couple of years if they don't take time.
I have a question on that too. Like, L, as a fan, how does that make you feel? Like those revelations, especially after the year you guys had, do you feel good about moving forward? I mean,
bruh, I'm an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, he's used to it.
I'm used to it.
You were born in
I'm built for this at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks to see. I feel like Atlanta is better run than Arsenal. So I feel like there's some hope, and like we're already kind of seeing like steps being taken to rectify those mistakes. So they brought Paul McDonough back. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Like,
Respect.
yeah, he's back. He's back with the team. Heinze has a little bit more rope. Heinze wouldn't come on unless he can get his list of players that he wanted. So he has a little bit more.
He's not going. He'll just leave. Like,
yeah,
like a coach like that, they'll just leave. So it's not like, he's not.
Yeah, he has a little bit more rope to build the roster the way he wants to build it. So I feel like we're on the right track. Like our play on the field, obviously, new coach, new system. It's going to take a minute to gel. A lot of new players. It's going to take a minute for us to like get up to speed. I think we should be decent this year. We got to fix our defensive issues. That's another story. But I feel like we're turning the corner to get back to where we were. So, if we can get back to where we were, I think people will ease off it a little bit. As long as we're winning, if we're losing, then they on his head for the rest of the season.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah. All right. So enough of Atlanta though. Let's jump over to Orlando. And talk about they have new owners. So the Will family, owners of the Minnesota Vikings, recently agreed to purchase Orlando City, which includes the stadium and Orlando Pride. So the deal is looking like it's about 400 to 450 million. So that's a pretty good deal for an MLS team and an NWSL team and a stadium together. I don't know if that includes the training facility, but looks like the Purple People Eaters going down south for more purple. So you gotta think about this one.
It's funny. First of all, I think it's interesting how MLS like puts valuations on the teams because like you had a couple of teams falling like under like 120 million, and then I think Dave Tepper paid 400 just to get a team in, and he
like 3 something.
Yeah, he paid like 350.
Yeah, so it sounds like they're getting a deal, to be honest, out of the whole thing. They got the stadium, you said the women's team, which we all know that the women's league is becoming more and more profitable. Mm-hmm. You don't have to build a stadium; it's there for you. Like my club had to build a stadium, so like they bought it and had to build a stadium. So like it's just interesting to see how MLS does that. Orlando deserves though some good. I know that there's been a lot of I would say turmoil with like ownership and such. I think that the on-field staff is fantastic. They just need somebody behind them supporting it. One of my boys is like one of the, I can't remember if he's now lead scout or if he is lead scout and coordinator now, but seeing the pipeline that's coming through him into Orlando is kind of top tier, and the coach is fantastic. I've always been a fan of his work when he was in Dallas. So they just need now like the support from all the way upstairs. And I think that will help hopefully a lot of the problems we see behind the scenes.
Do you think Amobi Orlando alumni?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy for the people of Orlando. A new infusion of cash, a new infusion of just a different direction. Shout out to the original owner that helped bring MLS to Orlando. That can't be understated. But with what they are doing now, I'm trying to figure out who the private equity firm was to get the deal done. Me, I like the sports business aspect of it. There's a nice little commission off that $450 million sale. I'm like, whoo, I wish I was involved. But all sports business aside, I think it's a good deal, and I think it's going to bring new life into this new transformation of Orlando. They had a lot of growing pains early. I was part of that, but you can see now with Perea and staff, like, they're going to be good, and then once they sell DK for like 20 mil and this influx of talent in South Florida or Florida in general, and in the outside regions that they can recruit from, I think it's going to be Orlando's going to be a formidable force for years to come.
Yeah, I hate to say it. On field, they are definitely improving. And just going back to the Wolf thing, he's known, that family is known for taking good care of their teams. I think there's like a lot of positive things to say about them as owners of the Vikings. So could be a good situation for Orlando. Coming in, they'll get the necessary investment that they need. Like you said before, they don't have to build a stadium. Is the training facility built already? I remember seeing seeing renderings and stuff of it, but I don't know if it's already done.
Yes, it's done.
It's done.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm pretty sure it's done.
Okay, so they got that.
I don't think they got. Did they get the training facility as well?
So that's the thing. I didn't see if it was included.
Yeah, I didn't see it in the price either.
Yeah, but they did last year.
I don't think he gave up that land. I think he because of like just where that is in Orlando, and I think he kept that just for real estate purposes.
Go ahead and lease that back to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing to note is the Wolf family owned a percentage of Nashville SC, so they'll need to sell that before they can close on this Orlando deal. I think they were initially trying to get an expansion team. They're trying to get an expansion team up in Minnesota before Minnesota United came in from NASL.
Yeah.
So eventually they made their way in first with Nashville City or Nashville SC, and then now got a full team out here. So congrats to them. Must be nice having that kind of bread to throw around. You know what I'm saying? One day.
Yeah.
One day soon.
Soon come.
I mean, you have a decent amount of money to throw around. What are you talking about? Decent amount. For an MLS team, decent.
Yeah.
Anyway, he got to sell his jersey collection first, and then we could, start talking about funding.
That's not even gonna scratch the surface, bro. I need some of that private equity money to come in here so we can really take this thing to the next level. But that's also another conversation for another day. Sports business. Let's get into the real reason we are here. We all know the real reason we're here, and that's Columbus Crew's rebrand, or excuse me, Columbus SC now. So the Columbus Crew have, to much chagrin, that's the word, rebranded to Columbus SC. So obviously the Twitter timeline was on fire. So we got to bring our guy Tyler on, who is our resident Crew fan and insider, to tell us what's going on, and we'll also be rating the new crest as well. So we can go ahead and jump into that. But before we really get into this, Tyler, bro, what happened?
So it's a lot of us have the same question: is what happened? Why is this happening? We woke up on Friday to a leak that, to be honest, is so far out there it doesn't seem real, and it was confirmed pretty quickly that it was real. And it just kind of blows your mind, because from a marketing standpoint, you want to bring eyes to your product, right? And from a rebranding standpoint, you do that when something is generally broken or is looked upon badly, or you just need a fresh start, like you need a fresh start. None of those things apply to the old brand, which leads you to something that Elle said earlier about, you get people in the room, people in suits in the room that want to put their stamp on things. And I think this comes down to the owners. The owners, which people forget, are the same owners that own the Browns. You can read enough on how that goes. They have a really good brand up there, but they like to tweak with things. And I think they saw, okay, the city loves us. They love the team we've given them. They love the stadium. I want them to love everything about me. What's the one thing that they also love that we don't have? This crest. This crest is honestly the old crest that's on the hat. It is universally across the league loved. And it's the one thing they don't have their name on. So what I've heard is that it started pretty early in the process of purchasing the team, this whole rebranding thing. And they didn't reach out to supporters or to do like a constructive go around with it. Supporter groups did get to see it, but it was more like, this is the finished product, this is happening, not a, hey, how can we make this better? So within that, you get two things. You get them being alienated, the supporters, that is, being alienated from the process, but then also kind of being force-fed something that we didn't need. As you can see, no one likes it. I fell on the side of, I was so burnt out from Save the Crew. I'm just happy I have a team. Like, the crest doesn't affect the team I'm watching. Technically, it doesn't affect the stadium I'm playing. It just affects the things I will wear. So I didn't care. I didn't hate it, but I really don't love it at the same time. Moving forward, I think yesterday the owners did finally respond, saying, we didn't do this process right. We didn't give the supporters a voice, and they were very tactfully saying, like, we're looking for an opportunity to like work forward with Nordeca, but it wasn't like a Chicago thing where they were like, hey, we messed up, we're going to start from scratch. They didn't do any of that. So I think this is here to stay for a while. Painful. I just don't understand. I think for me, as a person that loves like branding and marketing, my biggest question for an organization is, why would you do this when you already have so much momentum going into this season? You've got a championship winning team. You have this goodwill from saving the team. You have a beautiful new stadium coming in. You have everything a sports team would want. Why would you needlessly throw an obstacle in your way? It doesn't make any sense. And if you guys saw today the report that like the supporter group did give them back early this year, it literally like listed everything that would happen, like saying that the reception would be catastrophic. The fan base would be left in the dark. They would react harshly. Everything happened. And this is a 16-page document that was given to the front office, and it was just glazed over. So at this point, everything that's happened, the front office deserves it. They got to figure out what they're going to do. You have either the option to collaborate and make something new. You can be stubborn and stand strong and say this is what it is, or you just go back to what you had. We'll see what happens in the next couple of days, but it's just annoying. I'm just kind of, it's tiring being a Crew fan at this point. It's really tiring being a Crew fan.
And obviously there's an uproar about them dropping Crew from
you
the
can't
crest.
do that.
Yeah.
And from the name officially.
Well, I understood what they were going for. Doesn't mean I agree with it. By saying it's the nickname, like kind of how Minnesota has the Loons, Orlando's the Lions, Manchester United has the Reds, and Arsenal is the Gunners. Like, the fans know the nickname, so that was like their olive branch. I think that was a place where they did it because they were like, they did say us moving the Crew will be catastrophic, so let's just kind of give them an olive branch. Beyond that, I still don't understand why you had to move it. They said that, well, it puts more emphasis on the name Columbus. But as you guys have seen, like on the video broadcast, the press conferences, you can't even see the name. You can't see the word at all. Like, if you want to put emphasis on it, then make it work where you can see the city name Columbus. Like, it doesn't translate anywhere. None of their arguments are standing up. So, I don't know.
Yeah. So what are some, I guess, rumblings that you're hearing about how fans are going to handle this new crest? Like, are they just not going to buy any merch? Are they going to try and like starve them out from an economic standpoint and like completely not support the new stuff, only wear old Crew stuff? Like, what are you hearing on that side?
We've seen it all. I've had friends in the business who they already see people like, I'm gonna like buy your gear instead of Crew gear, so they want to like take their money elsewhere. I've heard as big as the supporter group wants to kind of like take a stand against them and like not show up. I mean, like, you don't want your supporter group stand to be empty, in this new stadium. I think because ownership has reached out to Nordeca, we won't see it be that bad. But I do think overall, you will not see that merchandise worn or bought. And that will hurt. That will definitely hurt. That's the biggest consensus. No one wants to wear the stuff. It's on sale right now. I haven't seen a single positive comment about the new gear at all. I've seen some people say like the hat with just the C is okay. Beyond that, no one wants it. It's going to hit their pockets. We'll just see how big it does.
What's the little triangle under the C supposed to be?
No one knows. As of right now, we've given it life here in Crewland by giving it its own Twitter account. Just the triangle. that is its use. It's just the Phillips space, which like the crest is supposed to be Ohio's flag, which I think you will only know that if you're from Ohio, which that makes sense for the fans here. But it's that triangle is literally just fill space. And if you talk to like design friends, they hate the whole thing of this. It's just how lines are, your angles, all this thing that makes a good design piece good is absent in this logo. So
and no disrespect to whoever made it, they had to fill out, or obligation of what
they
wanted.
Their check cleared. They're not tripping. So, I guarantee you they're not tripping.
Yeah, they was asked like, y'all sure y'all don't want any revisions? All right, we good. Like, so well, no disrespect to the designer.
I know the organization that I don't know if they actually designed it. I've heard rumors that they did. I know they're the big consultant on the brand. Their partnership is multi-year because we found out last year they had input on this jersey that we premiered this year, but they actually will have a huge hand in next year's jersey. And they were part of the rebrand as well. There's a place in England, I think it's Diley Studios or something like that.
Yeah, I remember when I think we announced that.
Yeah,
we tweeted or something.
Mm-hmm. So they're the ones that had a big hand in all of this.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it, man. I think like Columbus Crew, like you're one of the original MLS squads. Like take that to the grave. Like that's always going to be your marker, especially as MLS expands. You have to, use that. That like you have players on the team that grew up watching the Crew, or former players like Will Trapp, or like Aiden Morris. Guys that are from there, fans that have seen it from the ground up, and I think that ode to Columbus Crew, you're getting away from that. I understand, like we touched on it earlier, your power trip, trying to get your own like brand on it. And I think it's kind of selfish from their standpoint. It's like, well, they're going to support anyway, or we don't need to tell them, like they're going to come to the game anyway, so we'll do what we want. I think it's selfish, and you're not reading the room. So
this is the year of the fan revolt. Like, are they not watching what's going on over in England? Like this is the year of the fan revolt.
Exactly.
Like,
like even saying that you're going against the one fan base that helped stop a team from moving. Like we're stubborn. Like I don't understand it. Like why would you put that in this?
It's like I thought y'all was gonna come back with like a retro, get the three construction Crew guys, like do like a retro third kit or something, like an off-brand like designer collab, and y'all did this. I even know the player's not even rocking with it. Like, I'll tell you that for facts.
No, I can believe that too.
It's such a stark contrast from where you were to where you're trying to go, and it's not a good look. You know what I'm saying? Like if you wanted to make some changes, you could have at least kept some elements that were familiar, like keeping the Crew name in it. For one, I think from a lot of what I was hearing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Ty, like a lot of the uproar is like removing the name Crew from the official name. Like I think that's what a lot of the uproar was from. I'm not a Columbus Crew fan, so I don't feel any type of way either way. I'm more so, since I'm a designer, I'm more so care about the way it looks, and like this is just like a smooth fuck up. Like I don't know how they were like, oh yeah, that's the one right there.
That's the
like,
one right there.
Everyone
agrees.
Get it. I don't get it. Yeah. It's not computing for me.
I had a friend say it looks like version 6 of 10, and like 10 is where it's fire, but they're like, you know what, dial it back. Too fire up here. Bring it back.
Yeah, so let's break this thing down real quick. So based on marketing speak here, the encapsulation shape. So the state of Ohio flag forms the overall shape of our shield. If you want to call it that now. The icon C creates a symbol for the crew in all of Columbus. Then the logo type 9-6 is created exclusively for Columbus Soccer Club and formed with our isometric grid. Now this font looks very much like the crew font from Marvel. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the crew from Marvel. Like it looks very similar to that. I could be wrong. I could just be seeing it weird right now, but
you remind me of like Buccaneers, their font.
Yeah. So if we go back to this one, this right here looks very much. If you Google the crew Marvel, their logo on their
looks like that.
On their cover looks very similar to this.
Fun fact.
Yes, fun fact.
And that was let me see here. Because I knew they said they did create it for us. You started seeing them use it earlier in the year. And that's when you kind of like figured out like something is coming through, something's changing. And I think that they felt like it was well received, but I think it's because people didn't like put 2 and 2 together. Now that you're seeing it, just like you will never see the crew with Columbus, that's where people are getting upset. I actually I don't mind the typeset. It's because it is a little bit more modern, but I also think it's more on the trendy side, which means like it will date itself pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, and the way that they tried to, I guess, finesse this C inside of this flag is just
that's forced. That's really forced.
Not a good look. If anything, you should have just cut the C off here and had the 2 triangles at the bottom, or try to play it around with that a little bit more instead of trying to force the C into this corner right here. These angles are weird. Like this is a weird angle. Like I don't know what shape this creates. This negative space. Like this is weird. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all. I don't know.
See, that's the design speak that my friends up here have kind of walked me through. Is like none of the lines are right. The negative space is like not used well. Obviously, that there's no reason for that triangle. And it's funny because it's very consistent. Like every design person that I've talked to, L, had the same exact point. So what I'm saying is like, how do you pay someone that's also in that world and let them leave it as something that I guess design basics say is wrong? That's what confuses me.
No offense to the Haslam daughter, but I heard she was involved in this process. I don't know if she's a designer or what, but it doesn't strike me as professional.
I had no idea. That all makes sense now.
I have
no golly.
idea.
It's almost like they had a drawing or something, and then they gave it to a professional to like clean up. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a concept that like a professional designer came up with. Like here, had this idea, put it on paper. Now make it like designy for me. That's the feeling I'm getting.
Yeah, I don't know who the original person to come up with it or whatever. I don't even know. I know like I think one of the son-in-laws is involved, but I don't know like what his role is besides like he kind of assists the president. So I don't know who did. Yeah. I agree. That thought seems like it just
when you're at that level, it doesn't really matter what role you're in. You just getting. I don't want to say you're getting a handout, but you're involved.
I like that. You're involved. The PC way of saying it. You're involved.
Yeah. So I mean, any final thoughts on this?
Hey, it's not too late to scrap it.
Yeah, I think we see after meetings with the Nordeca, you see a Chicago type thing. It seems as if they've already bought into next year's.
Spent too much money on it. They got to run with it for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll see, like you mentioned, the Chicago thing, where the year after we'll see like some tweaks to it.
Yep.
I don't know.
It's just a bummer.
So I'm just interested from a design standpoint, like if they like hired like a marketing agency or ad agency or whoever, design agency, how much would this like rebrand run somebody?
I mean,
good question.
It depends. Really, this is like some insider like agency type shit. Like it depends on your budget. If you got a big budget, it's gonna cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you don't have a big budget and it's not covering my overhead, then you probably can't afford this. You know what I'm saying? Well, like you're dealing with the owner of a professional sports team, 2 of them. Like they got money. All right, so we running the ticket up. This is like, 200,000-300,000 maybe. Like this is our runway for a couple
don't
years.
Even say that, please. Don't even say that. Hey, I'll hang up right now.
This is our runway for a couple years. You know what I'm saying? Then you sprinkle in a lot of marketing talk. You give them like this stuff right here, this encapsulating shape and all these nice captivating words. It's all bullshit, to be honest. I'm gonna keep it real.
Just blowing it up.
Oh, with the jack. I'm really glad you said that though, because a lot of people be getting bamboozled.
I don't want to blow, and I don't want to blow my own spot. Like 2 Cents Sports Consulting. Holla at us if you need to get your look right, if you need to get your content strategy right. Fuck with us. We'll give you some marketing talk too, but it's gonna look good.
It's gonna be 100 and it will look good.
Yeah.
We just gonna be value adds. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
The abomination away from me and something else.
Hey,
all right, so
just like I told people today, you see how much this dude's made? Hey, you are what you negotiate.
Exactly.
And we all need to talk to all agents.
That's in any industry.
Like today.
Yeah.
Like on the phone with your agent.
A lot of players on the phone today.
Agents on the phone, like, hey, do not disturb. Like, that's what
you signed the line, bro. Like for real.
Golly.
Especially if you're a new player coming into the league, and then you see what some of these other newer players coming into the league are making. Like, you're definitely on the phone with your agent, bruh.
Yeah.
Your days are numbered, bro. Like,
some agents got fired today. That's all.
That's funny. All right, so let's keep this thing moving. Let's jump into no card, yellow card, red card. So this is a rapid fire segment of the show where I'll read off some news topics from the week or from the past week or so. Could be sports related, could be pop culture related. It doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is how we rate it, and we'll rate it using the soccer card system. So no card, obviously, is I agree, I'm cool with it. Yellow card, I can go either way. Red card is obviously I disagree or I'm not cool with it. So first up, we got Georgia's governor, Brian Kemp, has signed a bill into law allowing college athletes in the state to make endorsement money starting on July 1st. Here's the key. The new law also allows schools to take up to 75% of an athlete's endorsement income and redistribute it to other athletes. So what card are we giving this? Ty, you go first.
For me personally, red card. And the reason for that being, if you're going to let the athletes use their likeness, they should have way more than 25%. Because I know what they're saying is like, you're going to have players that are like more popular than others. So you want to spread the wealth a little bit, but that is still so skewed to the point where that money is going to go kind of just like towards the university and not towards the other players. It's just that number in itself is just too skewed. So this was their olive branch, but they failed. That's that. So for me, it's a red card.
You think, Amobi?
Yeah, it's a red card because like there's so many logistics around like just the handling of, all right, so if I make money from a camp, how am I supposed to report that? If I'm making money through an affiliate link or a brand, like what if you guys didn't even help with the process? So you got young kids that don't even know, and this is dear to my heart with the Frugal Athlete, but you got young kids that don't even know how to balance a checkbook yet. And now they're going to have to go to, all right, well, local company is paying me this much. Now I got to not only report it on my taxes, but now I got to give a percentage fee to Georgia. So are they going to be helping out with the process? Are they going to help out with the logistics, the compliance, all these different things that play a role into letting them get the deal flow and now having to take a cut and pay a cut? And yeah, I'm not a fan, but I see where they're coming from.
Yeah, and really, like the crazy thing about name, image, and likeness, and if you haven't already, check out episode 6 of Unfiltered with Kai McCullough. They talk about this. I'm not NCAA property. It's the name of the episode. Check that out on 2 Cents Sports Network. YouTube at 2 Cents Sports. Coming back to that, one thing that's crazy about this is that you have the lesser athletes who can go off and make money off their likeness on the low, however you want to do it. You got like somebody who plays water polo or something.
Yeah,
it's not a major sport, but they'll go start a YouTube channel doing cooking or something like that.
For bag and stuff,
and be making money on that. and then they're not getting dinged for it because they're not in a major sport. They're not in one of the money generating sports. So, excuse me. So I think the redistribution of the wealth is, like Ty said, code word for, a kickback to the university, essentially, to support these other programs, which is all bad for me.
Yeah. Like, how are you supposed to keep track of AdSense off YouTube?
Right? Like, who's reporting that? Like, that's another right there, another a way for even like agents to start like getting their way into these kids' worlds don't need as many distractions as we're about to give them.
It's like the blessing and the curse. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting.
And I don't know, and this is like a perfect case. I don't know if you are familiar with this guy named Destroying.
Yeah.
He's a YouTuber. He does like, YouTube videos, goes to like 7-on-7 camps and like does all these different challenges and stuff. But he was a kicker at UCF. Black dude, kicker at UCF. And they gave him an ultimatum, like either you give up your YouTube channel or, you play football, and he chose YouTube. So
he made the right decision.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is.
YouTube all right. Different.
All right, next up. Former Sacramento NWSL bid looks like it's going to San Diego. So how are we rating this expansion move? I know we talked about this on previous episode, but how are we rating the move from Sacramento to San Diego?
This is MLS bid and
NWSL.
Yeah. NWSL by itself.
Okay. Yellow card for me. I like just the growth of the women's game in general. Both cities I know have an appetite for it. I think Sacramento loses out because they've already lost their MLS bid pretty much. It would suck if they're also going to lose that as well. I just wish there was some sort of way to like make it work in Sacramento, but it just seems like soccer just isn't going to happen there. I know San Diego have the USL team, if I remember correctly. Is it Landon Donovan's team out there?
Yeah.
So they have the infrastructure set up. I'm pretty sure they probably partner some way with them. I'm fine with it. I just feel bad for Sacramento. They've had a rough soccer year.
Yeah, yellow card. I mean, no fault of San Diego. I think they have the infrastructure. You got Landon Donovan, Warren Smith, who actually brought the USL franchise to Sacramento. He was a key component to that, along with so many other different executives. They're set up for NWSL. I think they'll do it the right way. Sacramento, they still sleeping. They need to figure some things out. I think it's tough because that's my city, but
because they ain't got you on the bed.
When you don't got the right people involved and you think you have it all figured out, which is what we've talked about. And I mean, with the Columbus situation and the Atlanta situation, you got a couple people that think they have it all figured out, and then get hit in the mouth, and now you're trying to figure out what's going on. So unfortunately, hopefully we can see both franchises, Sacramento, San Diego, both have hotbeds of youth talent in the women's game. So the more the merrier. But I don't think we'll see it at the moment. I definitely think Sacramento NWSL team will come, but just not right now.
All right. And so last one, we're going to stay in San Diego with this. Casey Stoney resigns as manager of Manchester United's women's team. She's rumored to be the new manager for the San Diego job. So what card are we giving Casey for this move?
I mean, to live in San Diego and coach soccer, I'm giving no card.
Yeah. I would be fine with that. Like, that's a win for San Diego. Like, all the good things. San Diego is one of my favorite cities in the U.S., to be honest. So, and you'll see like a lot of players and managers will pick places because of like the living itself. It's hard to beat that. You get to be the coach of this new franchise. There's a lot of perks to it. Manchester United has a lot to work through, it seems like. So, falling off. People just falling off. This is all a win for San Diego and the manager. So, congrats to her if that's what's happening.
Yeah, fact.
Yeah, I want to see what kind of fit she's gonna get off. Like, it's real women to wear hours over there with Casey Stoney. So, as our guy Scams would say, she definitely was getting her fits off in Manchester. It's cold up there, so she had the dope jackets. And,
she I would like had her as like fashion inspiration at some point. She had that one, I think it was like the red turtleneck and the long trench coat and the black boots.
killing it.
Love it.
So we'll see what she's getting off over there in San Diego when that's announced eventually. So that's it for that.
Word.
So yeah, that's our show for the week. Subscribe, rate, and review. It helps us get discovered. Like I said before, like Elle said before, like Tyler said before, make sure you tap into 2 Cents Sports. We got a lot of things in the works. Got a lot of things that you guys will definitely want to tap into. So follow us on all the socials at 2 Cents FC. Check out our merch at 2centsports.shop. It helps support the show. It helps us continue on a weekly basis and stay consistent. And then tweet us your comments on the show and any topics you want me or Elle to discuss. I hope you guys enjoy the only show that's giving you unfiltered thoughts and opinions every Friday. You already know what it is.
Peace out.
Please.